Hello and welcome to my unboxing and first look at the Custodes Contemptor-Galatus Dreadnought. Now, I already do have an unboxing of this Dreadnought that I did last year, I think about this time, but seeing as there's a revival of Custodes at the moment, a load of new releases and things, I thought I would do another unboxing of one. And this has happened because, again, I'm not a huge fan of the normal plastic Contemptor that Games Workshop sell for £35. I'd rather pay, you know, £30 more or so and get, you know, a proper custodian guard looking one. And that leads me to this one, the Galatus. This model will cost you £56, but in the loadout that I've made for it, it will actually cost you £66, and that's because I put a multi-melta. There should be a multi-melta in here as well. You can choose a Kheres Assault cannon if you wish, completely up to you. Depends on whether you want more shots for the same range but less sort of anti-vehicle weaponry. And I just think that the sword in here is more suited as a sort of close combat weapon than the spear. And what I mean by that is typically the spear on the Kheres Contemptor Dreadnought, that looks like it's wielded with two hands. I think it'd be a bit awkward sort of wielding it with one, and that's because the other weapon arm will be the Kheres Assault cannon or the multi-melta. So I've decided to do it this way with the Galatus. Anyway, I've bumbled on for far too long. Let's unbox this. What I'm planning to do is magnetise the shield arm so that I can have the shield on there as well as the multi-melta, but we'll see. So yeah, Forge World. So there is the multi-melta itself, sort of normal sort of join. Put that in warm water, soapy water. And then this is the Galatus Dreadnought itself. As I said before, this model on its own will cost you £56, and it's the same for the Achilles too. We'll have a little look at the multi-melta first of all. So it comes in with two kind of parts, two sprues. There's a big old slippage there. It's going to be pretty tricky to sort out, but the other side is fine. Nice holes there, just drill a bit further down. Yeah, looks all right. And then this is just the tanks for them and the attachment areas. So there you go, that's the multi-melta. And then the Galatus Dreadnought itself. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't come in a box. I want to say the Achilles comes in a proper box with an instruction guide and stuff, and this one, I don't think it does. I think it's always come in this clamshell. But there you go, let's have a look at some of the details. So yeah, lots of ornate detail on this, you know, really fits in with the Custodes theme. Main reason I got it over the plastic one. And let's have a look at the detail on this. Yeah, lovely detail on there of the double-headed eagle or the Aquila. And then you've got the joints for the arms and the head. Lots of detail, no issues so far. It's perfect. And one of the legs, a little bit of a bubble there, but yeah, that looks fine. And then you get 4 feet. I think someone asked me on another video, why do Contemptor Dreadnoughts, why do you get 4 feet? And that's because 2 of them are slightly raised and 2 of them are flat, so you could have him, you know, stepping forward or even running. I think it's great that they do this rather than just give you 2 feet. This is the top part of the armour, goes over the head. And then some more joints for the arms, probably the elbows there. The sword itself, which this will just be basically a custodian close combat weapon in the 40K rules, even though it's got the incinerator kind of flamers on there. And then you've got the waist, lovely sort of symbol there with some lightning bolts. And some more sort of elbow joint parts, and I think this is actually for the shield, this part here, where he's holding the shield. And then another leg, or shin area. The power plant vents, very similar to the back of the custodian guard, as you can see there. Look, I like that they share a lot of the aesthetics. The shield itself, which I'm just going to magnetise, and then the shoulder pauldrons, shoulder guards. These are really tricky to cut these away from the edge. I don't know how they could have done it, maybe towards the back of them or internal, have the pegs, but these are tricky. So I would cut them off this block first, and then probably with a knife try and get under there so that you don't take part of the shoulder pauldron off. They are tricky to just clip off out of this whole model. You get the base, looks like a 50mm base I think, 60mm base actually, and then you've got another part of the hip area and another part of the arms, I think, where the hands go in, and then you've got these like little knee extra armour pieces and elbow armour pieces. There's one missing, but it is actually here, look, loose. So there you go. Let's just take this out, and you've got some kind of instruction manual there. It's okay, it's passable. I mean, you've got all the parts, and then you've got a little bit of how to put it together. It's quite straightforward though, but there you go. It's a great set just to have if you wanted to experience you know, resin or Forge World model. It is a great little starter set too. What I'm going to do now is go away and put it in warm soapy water. And if you're new to all this resin stuff, the reason why we do that is to get all the releasing agent off. Basically they add the releasing agent in, and when they take this out of the mould, it's supposedly easier to take out of the mould with this releasing agent, but obviously there's still a bit of it on there, and what that means is if you spray or paint directly on it, the paint or the spray won't stick to the parts. So it's always best to leave this in warm soapy water for 2 or 3 hours, or even overnight if you want. You're not going to cause these parts any damage, and then give each part a rinse under cold water, and then leave them to dry, and then you're ready to cut them off of the blocks or the plugs, remove any sort of mold lines or slippage, and then sand them down as well. So that's pretty much your build. I've got one here. Here's one I made earlier. Obviously it won't look like this. I'll have it in a different pose because it'll have the multi-melta on there from here. So it'll have the multi-melta sort of probably aiming up. I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking of poses for it, but that's similarly what it'll look like in that gold too. So yeah, as I said earlier, what I'll do now is put it in some warm soapy water, go away and build it all, and come back to you once it's finished, and I'll do a review. And I'll do the review as per the Warhammer 40,000 rules for the 8th edition in the new Custodian Guard Codex. There's not really any reason why you can't use one of these Forge World models as your Contemptor Dreadnought. I think this model is vastly superior in my opinion, and it's up to you if you want to cheap out and get the cheaper plastic one, then you still can do, but the Custodian Guard army is not a cheap army by any means. The models are quite expensive in it. You know, we're talking £35 for 5 models. We're talking £22.50 for the HQ, 35 for the jet bikes. It's not an army to cheap out on. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have a special sort of Contemptor Dreadnought, like I'll have a special, Venerable Land Raider, but more on that in the next sort of month or two. And that's all I really wanted to say in this unboxing. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.